Hi, I'm Nick,
Hi, I'm Akiva.
and you're listening to Music Existence.
Welcome to
Thank
another
you.
instance of Music Existence, where because of music, we exist. Today, I have both Akiva and Nick, or Nehemiah Shavrock. They are from the band Shavrock. And on August 5th, they're coming out with their debut album, Hope Found Me. We're going to unpack all of that. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Yes, we're very excited to be here.
So, going back, when you guys were really little, was your bond immediately apparent between each other, even beyond the music?
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Pretty close in age.
Yeah, we're 1 year apart, and having grown up together, we pretty much did everything together. We even shared friends, and so constant hanging out, constant just collaborating and everything like that. And then eventually morphed into when we started learning to play guitar and everything like that. It was, we both decided to take on guitar.
It's good you mentioned that. You both are essentially guitar players. Which albums really resonated with you getting into that?
So, we kind of have very similar, pretty much the same influences. We grew up listening to a lot of the Scorpions in Boston, a lot of bands and Kansas bands that had a lot of guitar harmonies, very melodic hard rock sound. And we just kind of always gravitated towards that. And that's also what made us want to play guitar. Guys like Slash and Zakk Wylde from Ozzy Osbourne. This was the stuff that we just loved and wanted to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even when people hear our solos, they'll hear the influence, especially from Slash and Zakk from Ozzy.
Right.
Those two were like I would say the biggest influences on our guitar playing and style.
Mm-hmm.
It's so nuanced, man. It's like creamy, but it's also sludgy. And I was wondering what gear kind of draws you both in.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, guitars, where we have a lot of different things that we like. We're mostly Gibson and PRS guys, and that's kind of what we gravitate towards. Definitely Les Paul is both of our love, but
pretty much anything with humbuckers.
Anything with humbuckers in it, that's it. Gear wise, so with our producer Bumblefoot, he really turned us on to Helix from Line 6. Everything we did on the album was through the Helix. And it's the tones and the sounds are just absolutely insane. And it's great because with Helix, whatever you record live in the studio, you can really replicate that live in your performances and not have to worry about like little things that could change that. So that's been really great.
That's so cool. And coincidentally, like you mentioned, like being really attuned to the Scorpions, a very anthemic band. Helix also is a very anthemic band too. The band. It's cool how it all kind of works together. And so, talk about your previous efforts before Shavrock and how those came into play. Obviously, you guys are very involved in Jewish culture, Jewish community, gathering a bunch of Jewish friends. Did it kind of start there and then you sort of gravitated to, let's do something uniquely ourselves?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say we grew up, so we definitely, especially in Jewish culture, the music is heavily involved. And not only that, like there's something called like a farbrengen, which is a Yiddish word for like Jewish gathering and stuff like that. And over there, we definitely would get together once a week or once every 2 weeks, and we would just have tons of musicians play from all different levels. And it was a great opportunity to collaborate and different things like that, but it also gave us opportunities where Nick was writing songs. So a lot of times he would debut them there. And a lot of times we would play these songs, and I would just come up with guitar pieces, and that's eventually actually how a lot of my guitar pieces that eventually made it onto the album were created, was from those like weekly gatherings. So it was a cool thing that sort of brought everything together, I guess, cohesively. At the same time, I would play a lot of Jewish weddings and stuff like that as well. So, and it's interesting because at the same time, I'll get up there and then people be like blown away, and they're seeing this guy just shredding away at a wedding. They're like, what's going on here? So it's been a fun journey like that. But then eventually we realized that Nick's sitting on all these amazing songs, and we got to do something bigger with them.
Right. So we didn't get the first Shavrock thing that's happened is basically the process to have released this album. So that was this is our first actual trying to do Shavrock. We were doing our own little thing, as you just mentioned earlier, where, I'd write a bunch of songs and then I'd play them for people, and people were like, oh, I really like that one. Right. And the more we were doing that, and then the more people were recognizing the song, so they wanted to hear that one again or that one again, kind of got us really thinking like we're sitting on too much stuff that needs to be shared with people. And a lot of the songs that I write are songs that are inspirational to people going through different things in their life, a lot of positivity, a lot of songs about hope. Obviously and that's why we named the album Hope Found Me, although each song is very, very different in terms of lyrically what I'm talking about and the messages as well. So with that being said, this is our first real dive into, the mainstream music thing. We met Ron Bumblefoot Thal, formerly of Guns N' Roses, at a show he did in Baltimore. And we hung out with him after the show. We hit it off with him. And then a full year later, Akiva ended up going down to another gig that he had in Baltimore. And he said somehow he managed to get backstage. That's its own little story, because they don't let him in right away. He said
it was a backstage thing, right?
Yeah, it was literally, oh man, I was persistent. And I told them, I said, Ron knew me. We didn't, like Nick was saying, I met him the year before at a show and we hit it off, but I didn't really know him that well except through social media. We followed each other on Instagram. So, I would tag him once in a while and stuff like that. And eventually, but anyways, when I was
the bearded shred,
right?
As Akiva,
right?
The bearded shredded, the beard of knowledge too.
Yeah. So I told the security guy, I'm like, listen. I ended up shouting out to one of the guys who opened the door. And I'm like, tell Ron the bearded shredder's here to see him. And then a couple minutes later, Ron opens the door and he brings me backstage. And then I just started talking with him. I'm like, listen.
It's cool that he immediately took to you and he wasn't like, what? Oh, bearded what?
Yeah. Ron is such a special person. I can't even begin to tell you. Not only is he obviously, in my opinion, probably the best guitar player in the world, but definitely one of them.
Does he see kind of something special in people when he connects with them? He's not one of those dismissive, shut the door on you kind of guys, right?
He's, I have a little story that actually people don't know about, just to kind of put in perspective who he is as a person. That first meeting that I met him, I saw on stage. He sounded amazing, and I noticed that he's playing a Helix. And I said Bumblefoot or Ron, whatever at the time. I'm like, I got that same piece of gear. It's too intimidating for me. It's sitting under my bed. I can't get myself to work with it. There's just too many things. It's not like an amplifier where it's like, okay, you just change your settings and it's a tube amp. You get the sound.
It's very nuanced, right?
Yeah. So he says, don't worry about it. He's like, reach out to me tomorrow on Instagram and we'll talk and we'll set up a Zoom meeting. What happened next is he literally took his time to do, I think it was almost 2.5, 3 hour meeting that we did on Zoom for him giving me a tutorial on how to, operate Helix.
Yeah,
that's probably unheard of,
Unheard
yeah, he is a gem in the music world.
He's a gem human being.
Yeah, he really is. And we ended up so basically, I ended up meeting him, and he said, backstage, he said, let's set up a meeting. Yeah. So next week we set up a meeting, and then again, he does a 2.5, 3 hour overview of the whole music business, everything. It was unbelievable. Look, not only does he know everything with guitar related, but he knows everything with regards to.
He's been in
the music business,
in the industry,
and
deals and all that stuff. And what was really interesting is we didn't have music recorded. We had nothing that was, that was even like a rough track that was at least done even in the house. We didn't have any music recorded. We had, little clips here and there doing a live performance, as he said, these get-togethers that
and
we did.
It's really bare bones. Even the quality is like, it's worse for wear, like potato toothbrush quality. But your harmonies, your tightness, your synchronicity, if you will, it's top notch, even for the shoddy kind of equipment,
Thank you. No, it really means a lot. And
Hope Found Me, by the way, was not. I'm trying to remember I think all the songs were written. All the songs I believe were written before we met him. All of them were already done. With that being said, we had showed him, I think, 4 songs, maybe 4 or 5 songs for him to choose from, and for whatever reason, the song he kept on coming back to was a song called "The Boy I Used to Be," which is our first single that we ever released. And it's kind of interesting how that song turned out, because if you listen, well, you haven't heard it yet, but the totality of the album, it's 12 really incredible tracks, and they're all so different, the songs. But you'll see how much more we ended up probably doing in every song after that. It was like a taste of getting started, but he said, no, this is how it should be, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. We didn't anticipate doing more than just that single with him.
Well, you might have heard, actually. If it's
did you hear The Boy I Used to Be?
Yeah, I heard The Boy I Used to Be. I have a lot to say on that, actually. But, to preface that, I really like how you did your name up. You have Shavrock, your last name, and then you covered the I with an O, like Shavrock. I thought that was really cool. And you kind of have like the slow burn approach going with your singles. You give them a little taste, and it's not to like hammer them in the face with. It's like a slow build here and there. It's very subtle. I like that approach.
Yeah, thank you.
We have to thank Ron for anything that's really happened till now. We give like total credit to him. He's the one who's been holding our hand, figuratively speaking, throughout all of this. And
he basically knows how to take a song or a good song and just make it great.
Yeah,
elevate it, and that's why he's such an amazing producer. I can't even tell you. We have countless stories of going into the studio, and Nick and I,
we make good for reals.
Yeah, right, exactly. And we're ready to record and everything like that. And then he says, "Well, how about doing this or how about doing that?"
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, he wasn't changing the song, or so he respected what Nick did, but at the same time, he just elevated it, and it was a remarkable process to see that.
Actually, looking back at the entire record, which is kind of surprising to me, he didn't change an actual chord in the entire song.
Right.
The only thing he really changed was he helped us understand in terms of production from where we began, where we ended up by the time we got there, because we always played to not to a click, it was more to was a tempo map. So because we push the tempo doesn't stay the same throughout the song. By the time we get to the chorus, it's going to go up a couple BPM.
No, it's human. If you were a robot, then it's all like quantization. No one needs that.
Another thing he taught us.
He taught us that, right? He's like, you don't want to be going to the click nonstop, because like it doesn't sound human.
So by the time we started, we were like, okay, we're going to do this 2 times, this 2 times, and this 2 times. By the time we started from there, and then he's like, guys, I think we should maybe just do the chorus once here, and then do the chorus twice later, and do this part here and there. But in future sessions, when we went up to be prepared to kind of create a tempo map for him, we already thought with his brain of how he would want us to arrange the song.
Right.
So we would present it to him. He's like, all right, guys, there's nothing I want to change here.
So he basically it taught us how to put together a song the proper way, how not to wait too long to get to the chorus, sort of what the listener is going to want to hear. That's what he taught us, and so that was very, very cool. Mm-hmm. It's been really, really special to work with him.
Mm-hmm. It's cool that you immediately took to what he was saying, because, sometimes it's like trial and error. No, I said that, not that. No, kind of, not that. But it's cool that you guys, you gelled incredibly well because you heard about horror stories with producers, right?
Absolutely.
Plenty.
No, this is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, just so much so that like I remember I called him up or whatever, I texted him before the first time we came up, and I said, Ronzo, I need to bring up an amp. I'm very worried. Like I like this warm, thick tone, sort of like a Slash or whatever, or Gary Moore type tone. And Ron's like, don't worry, whatever. So I show up there, and he plugs me in, and he gives me the exact tone I'm looking for. I didn't even say anything to him.
He knew
already.
He knew intuitively.
And again, I think there is a lot of overlap stylistically. Obviously, Ron is light years above us.
Right. We're not even. It's like we grew up. It's funny. I grew up being a lead guitar player. He was always the rhythm guy. And then when he went away, to do school for a year abroad, and he comes back, and all of a sudden he's shredding. It's like, whoa, what just happened? So it's like it used to be that we'd be jamming, and I'm just taking all the solos, and I'm the one kind of laying it down. And now it's like, oh, we got to look at each other and actually trade off licks and stuff. So, but we did our thing. But you realize how far out of our world he is. I've never in my life seen anybody like him, and
he's just remarkable.
Remarkable. But he's also at the same time he's not just a shredder. That's one thing that's like actually really important to us. We love guys that have the technical ability to play, but there's a certain warmth and melody that's lacked in the majority of shredders that are out there. Yeah. He is the most melodic guy I've ever come across. Right. He's telling us, guys, stop shredding, slow down. You're going to lose people. People want to be able to have a melody or a solo that they can sing. And what you're going to end up hearing on this album is exactly that. I did some solos on the album.
Right.
It's kind of almost
50-50.
It's almost 50-50 actually, which wasn't intentional at all. I kind of was like going into this project like, okay, I kind of had this vision in mind when I wrote these songs, but he's going to do it because he's going to be doing it live and all that stuff. And then in the studio, Q was just like, why don't you take this one, and then why don't you take that one? And then we kind of divided it up that way. And then Ron has two ridiculous solos on this record that people probably wouldn't know it was him because he plays in a way that is kind of reflective of Shavrock, if that makes any sense. So everything is still in the flavor of us. And that's what he was able to do. It's not the crazy thimble tapping with all the fingers thing. It's not that at all, actually. It's purely melodic playing in the realm of what the song needed.
Absolutely.
And it's been just incredible.
Yeah.
The tone is one thing. The expression is the other. And you guys had to learn that because you see all the time shredders, and then it's all like they're jerking off on the guitar, and that's it. Phone in, done.
Yeah.
But you guys had to step by step.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we already had our way that we played,
which is generally melodic,
very melodic. Yeah. He was able to really give us a little bit more discipline, and it's really kind of formed where we are now. Like I look back at the record, and I feel like I'm able to say this because it's not me. It's really, I look at it's Akiva and Ron and a lot of the stuff besides the solos that I did. But overall as an album, I don't think there's been an album of memory that was melodic songs with a rock edge that have the most fantastic melodic guitar solos in every single song. Every single song has a lead line that is singable and memorable. And like Hope Found Me, I said to Kia, I'm like, I think that's one of his most melodic solos. Yeah. It's one of the most melodic solos I've ever heard. I happen to like a couple other ones as well on the record, but Hope Found Me, which you've heard, has such a singable, beautiful guitar solo at the end, and it's something that's not expected. So we do that whole Simon and Garfunkel-y type of thing, and it's not that we're trying to mimic them. This is our own thing. We both have like softer type of melodic singing voices versus
because they're two Jewish guys. They have the harmonies, but you guys are something different. You have the heavier kind of slash edge, like you said.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Where we start off soft a lot of times, and not only that, like we even would bring in a 12-string because we love that sound as well.
I think I played a 12-string on
Hope as well.
Hope Found Me for sure is a 12. I think there was a 12 on probably 80% of the record. There's probably a 12-string on there. Hope Me, you can hear the 12 string for sure if you're listening to it closely, especially because it's so acoustic in the beginning.
We just love that iconic sound, like, like When the Children Cry by White Line or something like that. Rock stuff. They always had that 12 string, which had that amazing sound. So we were like, okay, we have to put that on the album. But at the same time, when we would get to the chorus, we'd have this heavy, distorted guitar sound, like a mash, right, like a full, like almost like 6 Marshall stacks. You know what I mean? And Ron, I think it was through Angle Amps, actually.
Yeah, he was an Angle guy. I don't even know, like, if they know that he's using the Angle, what's it called? The Angle cab simulator that's in there, because he still sounds like him. But he's like, I don't have the luck. If you ever,
it's amazing the technology now. You're able to,
that's the difference. Like, I don't think a regular person can understand. His signal change.
Do you think it's like an emulation or like a duplication at that point?
Yeah, I mean, he like Nick is saying, he has this crazy signal chain where it's going to this cabinet.
He's got multiple amps and cabinets at the same time. It's like these weird. I can't understand the signal chain. I'm just like, I'll just use that. Just send that to me so I can use that, because I can't create.
Right.
That.
So it's the perfect distortion when it comes to the choruses, where you have that. So imagine like the Creed sound or Daughtry, where it starts off, like With Arms Wide Open, starts off soft, and then it gets real heavy. That's sort of what it is,
Yeah, which we can't.
3 doors down, exact.
Can't put an exact label on, because that's been the challenge. It's like, what do we sound like?
Right.
Ron's like, you guys sound like you guys. And I think we sound pretty unique for what we are. We love hard rock music. Ironically, it's not on this record. I just wrote, a pretty heavy song for us. It's something that's like drop D, really heavy, chunky type of stuff. And maybe in the future album it'll be on there. But we actually are pretty versatile in terms of what we can do and what we like. This record has a certain feel to it. I don't believe there's. I said to Bumblefoot this. I'm like, I don't believe there's any 2 songs that sound similar here. He says, but it still sounds like you. It sounds like you guys, because we have our formula that we've kind of created, but the chords and the melodies are so different and unique on this album. And that was really my biggest goal. I really don't, and I really strive for this, is not having songs that just sound like each other, and you just kind of came up with that formula that kind of worked for 1 or 2 songs of yours, and do the same thing over and over again. So you'll see there's some really interesting songs on this record, a couple heavier ones that the guitars get really heavy, a little double bass in there, and then there's more of that softer song starting thing, and then it kind of slowly crescendos to that really big ending, which we didn't hope. So
Yeah, and just another previous question before we get to the album. How'd you guys meet Yofi, and what do you like about his style?
So that's a great question. Yofi grew up with us, and he's much younger than us.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we were always sort of like an older brother to him, and we're all very close. And it's funny.
I used to jam.
Yeah.
I'd jam on a cajon. We'd be sitting around a campfire.
Exactly.
And he'd be jamming on the cajon. He's like, 10 years old?
10 years old, yeah.
Wow.
He was already in it. And, in the back of our head, we were always like, it'd be great if we could do something together. But he was never quite ready yet.
Yeah.
And, life kind of just went on. We didn't even do anything with regards to Shavrock.
Yeah.
The Shavrock, the name happened when we were in high school. But we didn't end up doing anything with it.
So it was a concept before then.
Yeah.
We always knew we wanted to do music and get our original music out.
Right.
And people, I mean, for the last easy 15 years, have always said to us, guys, you got to get your stuff out there.
Yeah.
And again, I think it was just, by the hand of God, no joke. Like, by the fact that we waited till we got introduced miraculously to Bumblefoot. I mean, come on, it's crazy.
That's your catalyst right there, man.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Absolutely.
1,000%.
When we met him, and it all came together.
Yeah.
And with Yofi, we already realized with Yofi, he went away. He also was studying abroad for a little bit, and he came back. And when he got back,
he started playing.
He started playing every single day for like a couple of months, and it's like it was a night and day change in like 2-3 months. We're like, holy crap! I'm like, dude, you're amazing right now. This is great. And we started jamming, and and his growth has been, we were seeing it from every single track to every jam section.
There's a small little fill at the end of Hope Found Me coming out of the solo, and we're like, Yofi, that fill, it just makes the song.
Yeah, he did this one fill. I don't know if you've noticed it, where he does this dun 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 dun. It was something that when we heard it because when he laid down drums, we weren't even in the room. We were chilling downstairs. And
on the way home,
we every time we went back, this is what Bumblefoot did for us. Yeah,
basically
gave us the raw tracks. He wanted us to listen to it on our way back, and then we're like, "Whoa, Yofi laid down this really sick piece in there." Yeah. And for us, every time we listen to that track, we always look for that because it just warms your heart.
It's like I relate to it sort of how we're very melodic when it comes to guitar playing. He's very melodic, if that makes sense. Tasteful, yeah.
His note selection,
exactly.
It's not all over the place. He did a couple key pieces in certain songs that are, for us, we to say appreciate, it's an understatement.
He really highlighted a lot of those songs through his drumming. So it was just like a perfect fit. And so it's been a really cool journey so far.
Getting into the album, you guys did so Hope Found Me is your album, and then The Boy I Used to Be is the opener, and it's kind of poignant to me, and I'm sure to you guys too, because that song was released, I think it was January 3rd, right?
I'll be honest, I don't even remember. Yeah. It was a while ago.
I think January 3rd, and the day after that was January 4th, my birthday. So it really resonated with me. It was The Boy I Used to Be. And it's like, you use like a puzzle analogy, and it's like you're not only gathering the pieces, but you hit the reset button on the puzzle. So it's like, do you think as you grow older, it's just like a more complex puzzle, like when your journey moves on?
I mean, that's a great question. I don't think anybody's ever actually asked me that before. A lot went into writing that song. I had, not to be politician, where it's like you go off on a tangent about other things about it. To answer your question about the puzzle, I do believe so. I think as the older we're getting, life gets much more complicated, and there's a lot more pieces to that puzzle. So I thought the puzzle analogy was really good. We have a picture of what we want our lives to be, and that's that puzzle. And you thought that's what life was going to be. And then you decided to start again, you destroyed that puzzle and you started again. And now you're picking up the pieces to maybe rebuild it. There's a lot of different messages in this song. One of the biggest ones was, The Boy I Used to Be could be looked at really two different ways. One is like when you're a child, and I remember as a kid thinking this, like, I think I'm going to be this when I grow up. I wish I can do this, X, Y, and Z. And then and this was the thought that popped in my head is, in that moment when I was thinking these things, I wish I was this. And if I was able to transport through time and I became the 36-year-old I am now, would that child who's looking at the 36-year-old recognize that person? Would they be happy with the decisions that they made? And I thought that was something really deep. And the other flip side of it was that at any moment in our lives, we do have the ability just to start fresh. Can make a brand new start. I think that's the opening line of the song. Today's the day I will make a brand new start.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a good way to look at life. We all go through different things in our life. We all have our different challenges. Life is a struggle, and it's not perfect for anybody. And at any moment, we could just make a decision to say, you know what, I can be better. I could try harder. I can work harder on different things. I can be a better person. And it's about making a brand new start. Every day can be like that for people. So you don't have to give up saying, well, I made really bad choices in my life, and this is who I am, and that's it. I'm just who this person is. No, you can always start again. You could always be, that boy you hoped you were going to be, that man you'd hoped you'd be. So that's really, that was like the two main pieces. And the last part of it was something that personally my family was going through. And I took some inspiration from this with my grandfather, who had a really horrible bout with COVID and is still struggling to this day because of it. And
long COVID, right?
Yeah,
Long COVID. He was
exactly.
in the ICU. We thank God every day that he made it out. We did not think he would. And that second part was kind of really about him, where the second part of the song goes. Trying to think what's the opening lyric there. It's funny when we're young. All we want to be is grown up. And then, and this is where, so that's where I was tying it together. But the older that we're getting, we begin to start forgetting and wish we can turn back the clock. And that's when I was thinking about him, because everything that was happening in his life, because of the long COVID, it affected his in dementia, Alzheimer's. And, he couldn't really, remember things and just fragments, fragmented bits and pieces of a lifetime of experiences that have come and gone.
Yeah.
So it was really, and to be honest with you, most of my songs are not just one message. There's a lot that I think about before I write them, and there's different angles that I kind of combine these ideas to create the song, and that's kind of what this was.
Multi-messages, that really speaks to me too. And the title track, Hope Found Me, shows like a parallel to what Akiva was involved in, with his collaboration with Tally Yes. That song was very indicative of that. You try to put on that brave face, but in reality, you're just struggling. And it says viewer discretion advised, but it's just a very stark, view of isolation,
Absolutely. I think he even talked about that, I think, with regards to people going through like the time of COVID and everything like that, where people were completely isolated and so many people were dealing with depression and just not good stuff. And I think he wanted to bring that out and bring awareness to it. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of, like when I think about Hope Found Me, I think to like the discourse and like how people are quick to judge others. People tell you, oh, it's weak to just kind of wait and hope. Hope is a powerful thing if you know how to use it correctly. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think it's just sitting there and like doing nothing. But you're working your ass off. You're working both your asses off. But hope gives you the confidence to just keep pushing forward.
Exactly. No, I agree 1,000%.
Spot on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like, after a while, you're picked up again, and you push through. So, it's kind of like when you mention Hope Found Me, that's like Bumblefoot having the confidence in you guys, even when you didn't have any material to present. That's your hope. That's
so true. So true. For him to take like a chance on us. But not only that, he sort of like took us under his wing, almost like an older brother in a way, or
Yeah, totally.
or a father figure. I don't know. It's just like it was an amazing thing.
We had great times.
Yeah.
We have really great Bumblefoot stories where just our thing, because like
we're food guys.
We're definitely foodies, but also because we keep kosher, it's a challenge because where he lives in Princeton, New Jersey, where the studio is.
Like burgers. There's like burgers everywhere.
It's kosher, so we decided after our first trip, we're packing like some deli sandwiches, some tuna fish.
We're like, what are we
doing here? We're roughing it. So the next time we come up, we show up with a full size portable grill. And those are just some funny stories with that grill. But I'm sitting there grilling some ribeye steaks. We're making sure that he's well fed. That was like part of our thing. So every night we would be making some gourmet meals, and then we would be able to sit after we worked really, really hard in the studio.
Shoot the breeze.
Shoot the breeze. We talk about stuff. We got to really know each other, and we those are things that I will always cherish, because those are some like the best times that we
absolutely like it wasn't just like a working relationship. It became more of like a family or a very close friend.
Food brings everyone together, man.
Really, yeah.
I actually made my own. He has his own Bumblefoot hot sauce company.
Oh, I love that.
I traveled with my own. I made a fresh batch of hot sauce, and I gave to him. I'm like, you gotta try this. I made this for you. So I made like a fresh mango habanero hot sauce for him, and he liked it, which was good.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. I mean, you can have like limited resources, recording wise, everything else wise, but if you can cook, that's gonna keep you together. Like,
absolutely,
if you're well fed, yeah.
You know, we were working, I have to tell you, we were working crazy hours with Ron, and I give him credit. I mean, no one would have done this. Like, we would get there, a lot of times we would travel we're from Baltimore, Maryland, and a lot of times, so it's around, 2.5 hours or 3 hours?
It wasn't so far, between 2.5 and 3 hours.
A lot of times we would get there around 10 p.m. Saturday night, and we would work till 2 or 3 a.m., and then we go back to the hotel.
And then we'd be back there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right, till
again, 1 o'clock in the morning or something. It was insane. Yeah. It got to the point that was insane that he's like, guys, next album, we can't do this anymore. He's like, no, whatever, we'll just make it work.
And Ron is the amazing thing about Ron, his work ethic. Like, I've never seen, like, I'm taking breaks, when Nick's singing or playing guitar.
He's leaving the room.
I'm leaving the room, chilling for an hour or two, or going shopping for, the extra, whatever, the vegetables, whatever we need, or the drinks. I'll come back, and Ron does not leave that chair.
Don't leave the chair.
From the morning till the evening.
It's crazy. I've seen him sit for, like, I don't know, without even making, like,
12, 14 hours.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's literally, I've never seen anything like it in my life, but that's why he is as good as he is. And everything that he's done in his life, he has been, I guess in a way he's probably somewhat of a perfectionist, but his work kind of reflects that, and his knowledge reflects that, and everything he does, it's just insanity. Like he's what he does speed editing. Like he is literally editing as like the second the recording is done, he's already doing all of his things in there.
Is he a top-down kind of guy?
Is he what?
Is like a top-down like kind of mixer kind of guy. Like he mixes as he masters, kind of thing.
Yes. At a certain point, we realized that, like, when we sort of were on a tighter schedule, then he would do less, and then he would do more later. It sort of varied each time.
In the beginning, it was much more. He did a ridiculous amount of mixing in the studio as soon as parts were kind of done. And that way, because originally when we started, it was just going to be the one single.
Yeah, we didn't tell you that.
When we started this, The Boy I Used to Be was the one song. I don't remember. It was a one-day trip, I believe.
I think it was a one-day.
It was a one-day trip. We came up Saturday night, and we left late Sunday night. But it was like it was as much as we can get done. I remember we weren't sure what we were going to even do, because like Saturday, he's like, oh, do we want to? We met him at the studio.
Yeah.
And we brought a ton of gear.
We had a ton of gear, so it's our first time there. We didn't have any guitars we needed, but the sounds we wanted. So we brought all the gear, we carried it all up to the studio, and that was the idea. Was going to unload. He's like, you guys want to start on something? Like, I don't know. Why don't we start on the acoustic guitars? So I started the acoustic guitars, and then I don't remember what happened after that.
It was a late night.
Late night.
Early morning.
Right. So we kind of were going to get a head start on the next day, and that's kind of became our formula. Our formula every time was, when the night we got there, we got in the studio, we spent hours and hours getting as much done to get a head start on the next day. Because like I would start every song, you play to the tempo map, and I'd play an acoustic. Every song has at least one acoustic that's being laid down. Some of it was two, because an acoustic 6-string Taylor and a 12-string Taylor. So that's what I created the foundation for each song.
Right.
And we actually, the drummer did not, which was interesting, we did not have the drums done till the song was finished. It would be that we would play all of our parts, we'd sing all of our parts, sing our harmonies, all of our guitar solos, everything was in there, and then we had Yoki come in and he'd knock it out of the park in an hour.
Wow. That's how good your relationship with Yofi is. That's how good your connection with Bumblefoot, like, it all like comes together, like in the bond. Speaking of bonds, like you guys really just have this system down, and like to contrast from that, the last track is "Bring Them Home," and it's about it's a song for the hostages who at the time were taken by Hamas, and there's a lot of division on the internet. just everyone at each other's throats about what was going on in Israel, what was going on in Palestine. And like when you guys were hearing all these stories and all this disarray, how were you responding to all of that?
You kind of can't respond to all of it because, responding is kind of adding fuel to their fire. That's what they want you to do.
No, I mean, not like responding to comments. I just mean like in your head, what was going through you guys' mind?
It's a very important thing. I mean, that was actually a big struggle for us. You have to understand, this song was not going to be on the record.
Right.
This song we didn't even know we were going to record because exactly what you just mentioned.
Things have been so volatile.
And Akiva and I talked about it. And actually, we even had Ron in the conversation. And we're like, we were sitting here watching everything that's happened. And I had already I wrote that song right after those people were murdered at the Nova Festival. I wrote it. Wow. It was done. It was already written. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have it in me at the moment to release it or to even record it because of everything and the amount of divisiveness that's out in the world. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's just about right or wrong. And
we came to the realization that
it's the only thing we can do is send a message to be like, these people are being killed. People were murdered in cold blood.
Or being held hostage.
And on top of that, people are being held hostage for a ridiculous amount of time. So we realized it's now or never. We got to do it. So at the time that we did it, we just said this is going to be a one-off thing. This is going to be a single on its own because we realized that the singles that we were going to do, they're going to end up being absorbed in the album because when the album drops, then those singles would go away. They're no longer singles, just part of the album. And Bring Them Home would be a single. After we released Bring Them Home, and I was very surprised, Bumblefoot said to us, he said, that song is too good to not be part of this album.
Yeah.
And he was the reason why we decided to put it on.
And the amazing thing about this song, by the way, I have to tell you, we just made like this decision, and we're like, okay, we're going to go for it. And it was a random, I think it was a Thursday or something. I said, Ron, when are you available next? Because I had to go down to Florida for a wedding. Right. And Ron's like, I'm available this Sunday technically. I'm like, okay, Nick, we're going up. We literally didn't prepare anything. Yeah. We're like, we're going up and we're going to record the song in one day. And I don't know how we did it. And not only that, we ended up recording this song, and Ron, for the next 2 days, I'm not even kidding you, he spends every day, 14 hours each day, I think. He mixes the entire song and masters it in 2 days, and it comes out incredible. And he would, at the same time, also have to fly down to Florida because he was doing what is it?
Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp.
Right, Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp,
right?
Yeah, so he gets the song done in like 2 days. It was unbelievable, and the song came out incredible. And not only that, so he showed his whole camp at the whole fantasy camp, and it's for adults and everything. And they were all blown away, and we were blown away by it. And the irony is that last second we picked up this massive gig. It was a banquet for 800 people.
Yeah, this was crazy because this whole part was like a whirlwind. That Akiva had a friend of ours that his wedding was the same time in Miami that Ron was in Fort Lauderdale for the fantasy camp. So we figured, okay, we're gonna go to the wedding, and then we're gonna go from the wedding to the fantasy camp.
We'll hang out there.
So we literally were at this wedding dressed in suits and stuff, and we ended up going to the fantasy camp dressed up in double-breasted suits, looking spiffy, but it wasn't in rock and roll attire. So we show up from the wedding to the fantasy camp, and the head of the fantasy camp, David Fishoff, who's a big supporter of Israel and really liked our music through Ron. And there's a rabbi in the fantasy camp, which was crazy. We're like, hey, what do you mean? What's a rabbi drummer doing in fantasy camp? So it was like a really small world. Like the rabbi's from Boca Raton, and
such a great guy,
Rabbi Josh. And my sister
the Boca Raton synagogue. I saw you guys played that video, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we
all hit it off. And he basically is like, what's it going to take for you guys? Because we told him we're leaving Monday.
And he's like, I got an 800-person banquet Wednesday. Now, mind you, we don't have guitars.
Yeah.
We don't have a drummer. So we're like, okay, but we got to take this opportunity. So we get Yofi. Yofi brings down our 2 helixes.
He flies. We had somebody pack it all up for us in like this gigantic suitcase. He's flying down with our helixes, and that's it. That's all we had. We at least knew we can get, if we can get guitars, we can get our tones up on that stage.
And we met our good friend Spencer, and who hooked us up with like Spencer, a Gibson Les Paul and PRS, and so we had real gear. And then Yofi flew down with it, and then he also borrowed a drum set, and that was that, and we put on a show.
It was actually the craziest thing because Rabbi Josh, who became fans of ours and became a really good friend of Akiva and I's, he said, you know what, I'm going to get you in front of 800 people. But you know, even better, while they're having dinner at this gala, it was this fancy gala, he says, I'm going to have the background music be your singles. So the entire gala, in the background, it's playing The Boy I Used to Be and Hope Found Me on repeat.
Wow.
As the background music. It was the craziest.
Oh, and not only that, so we at the same time I was working on getting a video done.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw the video, but it was a very powerful video on YouTube for Bring Them Home. And
I saw it.
we debuted that video on these massive screens in front of 800 people.
Before the program, so they had their dinner, and then we got up and played our set. And after that set, when everybody was sitting down, they're all like 700-800 people that were there on the big screens, these enormous big screens behind where we actually played for the presentation. By some miracle, we got the video done in time, and we debuted Bring Them Home there for those 800 people prior to it being released publicly. Which was extremely powerful because the majority of these people, were Jewish and had ties. There are people with family and people who are serving in the IDF. A tremendous amount of people who had ties to the situation going on. So it was incredibly moving for those people, and to a certain extent comforting to some of them as well. So it was, for us, it was a very surreal moment. And shortly after that concert, we debuted the single.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it's very powerful, and just to, in the broader context, just to show how like murky this whole situation has gotten. I mean, I remember I interviewed this guy Alex Poe, who's Ukrainian. He actually grew up with Russian friends, with Russian music. Like, it just permeated and he loved it. He loved both the Ukrainian and Russian influence, and he was like, I don't know why this is going on, and people are like, you can't be neutral about this, and they actually banned him from Instagram, and it was just like, what the hell, guys? It's like, just remember, like, that, all of the politics that's going on up here doesn't reflect the people down here. The people are sick of it, right?
Absolutely. Let alone the music, So
that's the one thing that's interesting about music. Everybody's always felt this. I mean, we certainly feel it. It's like music is the one thing that when you're in a room and you're playing music, and especially if your music is positive and it's about or just has really important messages, that's what brings people together, because in that moment, you're not thinking about anything else but the song that you're enjoying listening to, and the people that you're with, you're enjoying listening to it with them. And I think that's what music brings people.
It's all about unification, man. It doesn't matter about some war, like, affecting everything. It's people of different cultures know they must unite. I know it's cheesy to say, but that's what needs to be done. Even if anyone has like disagreements and stuff, we're people too, and that's what's lost on everyone's minds right now, but that's what should be done.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid that it's come to this, but when all of the dross is left out of the picture, it's all about music, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's what it's been for us. Comes down to music, and yeah, and just to like, considering everything that you guys have been through, you've been through this 15 years, right, pursuing music, and now it's culminated into Shavrock. So considering all you guys have been through up to this point,
what have you learned about yourselves, not only as musicians, but as people?
Oh, it's a really good question. I mean, so the past, I would say, for sure, the past year has been the biggest growing experience because it's been the most condensed version of basically what you're saying. You know, the past bunch of years, everything was very sporadic. We do a little thing here, a little thing there.
Right.
The past year, it's been intensely jam-packed with recording this record, you know, polishing these songs. And part of something that actually occurred in the studio, it kind of is a very good example of what we've learned, and that is how everybody plays such an important role in the project. And there is definitely a level of nullification that we all have to have to the greater picture. And one song in particular, which is actually the first track on the record, called Kaleidoscope, was a perfect example about that.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know where the interview was. Actually, while it happened, one of the days that we were there recording the song called Kaleidoscope, Bumblefoot was dealing with releasing his Bumblefoot Returns album. So he was dealing with interviews here and there. So we would pause, he would do his hour interview, we'd get back into the studio and keep going. And he touched upon exactly what was transpiring at that moment and what happened next. So what had happened is this song Kaleidoscope I wrote, and Bumblefoot, we did the tempo map. And after the tempo map was kind of done, I noticed like that the song was just chopped up from what my vision was originally for that song. It only happened on this one song. And I expressed to Ron, and I said, you know, if you cut out this one part of the song, then the song has no meaning. Wow. Because lyrically, for the song to make sense and have the message that tied it all together from the beginning to the end, that part was so important. And basically what had happened, he turned to me and he says, you know, I see that that the lyrics mean a lot to you, and this song is really important to you for whatever reason. Yeah. He says, well, why don't you try to then, maybe we'll speed up the tempo a little bit so it doesn't drag as much. We'll get to the chorus faster. We won't repeat the choruses twice. We'll do each chorus once. And it was incredible. First of all, the product, this is one of the most, we're very proud of this song. It's the most unique song on the record because it sounds like no other song at all. It's kind of got a Western Johnny Cash feel to it to a certain extent. And then it's got like the 60s, 70s harmony going on in the chorus. And he lays down the most insane guitar solo as well. So it's a very different song. But it never would have come together if we didn't work together on it.
Everyone had their input and put in their little piece, and it just gelled. And I felt like we were like, I actually started taking the solo because I played the first intro solo, and then there's a second smaller solo. But then I'm like, you know what, Ron, I feel like this song would be perfect for you. And he just laid down the most gorgeous guitar solo.
It fit the song perfectly. And then after that, we laid down baritone guitars in there that we keep it. Again, Ron's idea. This is the part of everybody's input into this song that would not have had happened without everybody being a part of it, and everybody expressing themselves and everybody listening to each other. That's the whole family concept. It just feels like a family. You know, we're actually brothers. Yofi's like our brother, and Ron feels like another brother. We feel like a family unit. I think we approached that throughout every song on the record. There's a little bit of everybody on every single song. No, people I don't think really know this, but Bumblefoot actually plays bass on the entire record. He is the secret bass player on the record, which is actually kind of cool. He is so good at everything he does. He plays cello. People don't know that he plays cello. And we have all these different elements on this record because of everybody's contributions, and it's amazing.
That's so great. That collaboration is so important, and it's not just the brothers and the other guys, you know? And I think what's cool about you guys in particular is that when it comes to Nick, it's like he's not just the and guitar, you know? He's not the, vocals and guitar. Like you said, he's a lead guy, you know, when he wants to be. So it's not just like a compromised sort of position where he's just kind of chugging along, and it's like, yeah, I'm in the band, but whatever, but my vocals.
Right. And the cool thing, what we accomplished, actually, a lot of people don't know this, and bring them home. The main guitar solo is actually 2 solos. I play the first half, and then Nick comes in, plays the second half.
Wow.
We hear a transition. We actually played the same guitar. We were both playing his the Les Paul.
Same guitar.
Same guitar. The only difference is, I think he was on the
treble or bass.
He was on the bass position. I was on the treble pickup for a little bit more bite and aggression for the end of that solo. But like, they're definitely phrased differently. If you know that, you'll when you listen to it again, you'll be able to hear the transition where I come in and then I take over at the end. And there's on this record, so that's where it's like really the lead guitar stuff really got divided out throughout this record, because there are 3 songs specifically on the record that had multi-guitar solos. There's a song called Dazed and Confused, where I start the guitar solo. Akiva comes in with his really beautiful melodic piece, and then I finish it. So it's me, him, me. Another song,
Burning Sky,
actually. So Dazed and Confused and Burning Sky are the 2 heaviest guitar songs on the record. Burning Sky is a song that really means a lot to him and I. That was been our song, that like our anthem for the longest time. That's got the heaviest guitar on it, and it's got a phenomenal guitar solo that he starts the first solo. I finish with the second solo, and then it comes into this anthemic harmony that brings it to this like explosion, right? There's just so much going on, and I really think maybe in the future, with future records, maybe we're going to do more of the double solos, because it really just has kind of become our thing. Especially because the last songs that we did, it's the order that they're on the record isn't the order that they were recorded in. So some of the last songs that we did, we decided to do the double guitar solos, and we really, really liked it. So it maybe become more of our signature, along with the other elements that are already our sound.
Mm-hmm. You guys aim to create an experience, like, between the album and the Shavrock name, how it's stylized, and how the album art for Hope Found Me is. It's kind of like, I have synesthesia. A lot of artists, you know, they have it where their senses work together, where they perceive music in the form of colors. I'm a big believer of like deep colors on albums, and you guys captured that really well too.
Yeah, I think how that actually happened was we were torn between ideas. We all really felt strongly, because the concept of hope is something that we all believe in tremendously. It's something that transcends everything throughout the world and with people. Hope is one of the most important things for people to have. And a lot of the songs reflect hope, even if it's not a song called Hope Found Me. So we really felt the album needed to be called Hope Found Me. At the same time, it's very hard to portray artistically Hope Found Me, and the ideas that we came up with, between the designer came up with, it just wasn't reflecting Shavrock. Mm-hmm. Now, the next idea that we had was the song Kaleidoscope. So we came up with these ideas of, rendering.
That explains the colors. Wow.
So we started
going
that direction. We didn't end up going fully a kaleidoscope, but the colors that we were able to think of and to come up with via the kaleidoscope idea, it kind of melded the 2 ideas of a kaleidoscope, but with the message of hope. And
basically, it was an amazing story how our cousin is a top designer, and he reaches out to us and he says, "Guys, I love what you're doing. I want to help you with your logo, whatever it is." Now, we already came up with the Shavrock with the O and the I, which we loved, and Ron loved that, and we're like, we wanted to do that. But at the same time, we wanted something that's edgier and rock. It shows rock and the shredding of guitars, everything like that. So our cousin David came up with a brilliant script for the logo. I think it's called typography.
It wasn't script, but he designed each letter and manipulated each letter. So it's not just a typical.
It's completely custom.
Somebody custom made this thing, and it's really cool. You can see on his hat.
Yeah, you can see, but
how I don't know if it's backwards.
Yeah, but
the way that how it hangs down on the R, on the K, and then on the S, how it's a little elevated here, so it's here and here.
And that ends up making it on the album.
Yeah.
And so David ended up creating this design for the cover, and he presented it to us, and we were blown away.
The second we saw it, it was like when we finally got to this point. The second we saw it, we knew that was it.
It was so vibrant.
Yeah.
And as you were saying about colors, and we felt like this is us, it just brought everything together.
Catches your eye, makes you want to kind of
exactly.
Yeah, the deep colors, like back in the day, like Trix yogurt, had these deep colors, with the reds and the pinks and the purples and the blues.
Yeah,
it all fits together, man. I really hope, that that it comes across, that people are kind of compelled to think of it in terms of colors, because I think Hope really does have like this blue and this, pink and red in it, even your background, even the lighting scheme in your background is very Hope driven.
Yeah, and the fact that Nick's songs are so descriptive in the lyrics, I feel like, and you constantly in Kaleidoscope, you're talking about different colors and shades.
Yeah, in the chorus, in the chorus of the song, it's a kaleidoscope of colors only in my head, whether I'm awake or dreaming in my bed.
Because Hope isn't it's an internal thing. It's in your head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then
another line that we used, I used in the song, that same song, is I can paint the picture only with my words. And that's kind of the creation of all of this, is painting a picture and an imagery for people in their heads based upon what I'm trying to describe, which is sometimes challenging, but we did our best.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, you guys should really, hand it to yourselves you've made like a great album, and I also like how you're putting it on CD eventually. That's coming up.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. I have just wall-to-wall of CDs. I'm a great collector of just rare music, every decade, every country. I love it. And
we felt like we have to do it right.
CDs is a minimum, because like for us also as just music lovers, every week
we grew up on
CDs, but the quality of the sound is so much better than these MP3s. They're just so lacking. So there was that. And for people who really want to just put in a CD physically,
there's a warmth in your sound too, and you need that.
Yeah. And we're also contemplating, maybe, this is a big maybe, a limited record run. We may
vinyl.
Maybe
I have a turntable right near me. So.
We're talking about
it.
I talked to Ron about it. It's like maybe what we'll do is put feelers out to kind of like a pre-order type of thing. If we get enough people that are actually interested in, then maybe we'll do it, or we'll sign each copy. We have some ideas, but we'll, one step at a time.
Yeah, and the cool thing is we're through Bumblefoot. We now have record distribution through Deco Records.
Entertainment, yeah.
So that's very exciting as well. So people can order that on Amazon or directly through their website, Deco Records.
We'll have all the. I think it's Deco Entertainment. Or either way, you look up Deco, you'll find
DEKO.
DEKO. Also, our merch. People can PM us if they want to get some merch through us, or I believe Deco is going to be distributing our merchandise as well.
Yes.
We already produced these amazing hats. Right now, we're doing these trucker hats that are in two colors. We got the white and blue that I have here.
Right.
You can see.
Yeah.
Got the black and the.
Yeah, and then we actually also made these really cool T-shirts with the album art.
Wow.
Yeah. Turn around for a second.
There you go. Is it behind the frame?
Yeah, there
Holy
you go.
Hell, man. That's awesome.
The T-shirts were really cool how they came out, because we were, we went really legit with how we did this. We went to local print shop.
Captain Jerry's.
Captain Jerry's. These guys are amazing. We highly recommend that anybody needs any stuff done, go to these guys. They've been so helpful and so professional. We love them. With that being said, It's not those DTF prints. These are legit printed, and it's challenging when you're dealing with really vibrant colors. And he did us a favor, ran it through twice, did some little tweaking,
and it came
out amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You're lucky because like after a couple washes, like the logo or the color won't stick, and then it's like, ah, shit. It's like
this stuff is like he told me, he's like Akiva, he's like the logo and design is gonna outlast the shirt.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. And lastly, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
I would just say we want to just thank everyone so much. Everyone's been so supportive and I can't even tell you. We met so many different random people, and we haven't really even started like touring yet. But just through online or through YouTube, we met this amazing guy named Brandon from like Oklahoma, and then a guy Tim from Pennsylvania.
Right.
And these guys, like, they don't know us, but at the same time, they hear our music and they
connect with it.
And they connect with it, and they've been just incredible fans, and it means the world to us, really. So we can't thank them enough, and I can't wait for other people to hear the album.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. It's been really cool to be able to connect with people of different walks of life that you may not think you would be fans of the music. And it's been really, really interesting to see how many different generations the music actually transcends to. We have some older folks who love the music, the people that really like the harmonies of the vocals, and it's like the hard rock guitars don't turn them away for whatever reason. They're still enjoying it because the foundation is what they love. And then we have children. It's the craziest thing. You won't believe how many people telling me that their kid's favorite song is The Boy I Used to Be. I had a person to call me, and they said every single day that they go and do carpool, their child's like, you have to put Boy I Used to Be, you got to put it on. Every single time they do
carpool. And my buddy Kyle's, he has a 3-year-old daughter.
And her favorite song is Bring Them Home. Right? So it's like, and it's interesting because it's like, that's the only song, by the way, on the record that has Hebrew words to it. It's straight out of Psalms, where Psalm 20, where it talks about reaching out to God in a time of crisis, and that's when I saw that psalm. I'm like, this is the passage that needs to be said about the situation going on.
You let the cultural imprint, the multilingual, part of you just out, because it really is kind of that song.
It's very important to that part, that song. It wasn't that was part of the reason why originally we weren't going to do it on the album. I have tons of songs that are just just in Hebrew, mostly passages from different parts of prayers or from Psalms. A lot of things that have a lot of meaning to me and my culture, my religion. But with this album was specifically meant to bridge all gaps for people, that everybody who can speak English can relate to the songs and the meanings. So it was unique that we did it with Bring Them Home, but it was too important not to. So that's why that happened. But we really want to thank everybody who's taken the time to listen or stream or download the songs. We're really excited to share our full record. I don't think people know what they're in for, because it's really, I know we're going to get some calls saying they're going to be really surprised. It's going to be a really pleasant surprise for a lot of people. If you listen to this on Kaleidoscope, you will understand the opening track of the record is very different than the rest of the record. So it's going to almost like throw you for a loop, because if you don't know Shavrock and you haven't heard our singles, you're going to hear the song and think that maybe the rest of the songs are going to sound similar. We didn't repeat anything in the record that sounds similar to Kaleidoscope at all. And it's really cool. We're excited for people to hear it, and we can't wait for people to tell us what they think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, fantastic, guys! Thank you so much for coming on. Like, I really, absolutely. This has been an amazing interview. Great knowing you guys.
Yes, absolutely, and we look forward to doing it again.